Or no, what does Doinb want?
Yeah, I think that was the correct call here, and I assume that that was what we're going to see from FPX the second that Twisted Fate was left open. So, how do you want to respond here as EDG? Something like the Syndra is available for Scout if they want to go towards that, but obviously with the AD carry being a first port of call here, and that jungler, it makes a lot more sense.
Okay. Hope back. Back on the Ashe. Now, Lwx doesn't really play Ezreal much. Ezreal was banned in game 1. Did they look for their AD carry here is the next question, because Chris Thresh is still open, Dagda. Setting up the bottom lane. Lwx on Senna once again. This will be his 4th time playing it.
So this is another time where FPX, we've seen this out of them before, where they go for this Twisted Fate Senna, and although you do have a lot of pressure with globals, the biggest issue is that you have to again get rolling early, because your composition lacks a huge amount of damage. Now you can obviously facilitate that as Tian is hovering the Braves here with another AD carry, but you're still not in the best of situations if you can't get rolling nice and early.
Okay, well, Sylas is going to be locked in. Let's pause a second and focus our eggs here, because the ability to match the TF, very highlighted by this matchup.
And that's what we've started to see a little bit, is Sylas coming in as a quote-unquote counter, but not quite there, is in you can just follow alongside the Twisted Fate. You don't really lose out too much when it comes to it. Yeah, you can interrupt it, and then you can still have a great impact in these team fights as well, where you offer this AP bruiser style. It does mean, though, you're going to be looking at EDG trying to play a very heavy, okay, let's jump in, let's get in on top of everyone type of game plan, with Scout being able to steal away some of these crucial ones.
Double Destiny is the worst thing for a caster, because you have no idea who's coming in, right? Especially if they're off-screen, you're like, well, both ultis are available. Let's find out. And we'll keep an eye out for that one, quite literally, because Thresh, Nort, setting up the bottom lane here is the focus, while EDG themselves ban the Camille. Maybe... I mean, if you're playing something like Jax, you know, that's been the cause in the past, but we'll see anyway. I was excited about top lane matchup in game 1.
Look, either way, I imagine XiaoXiang is going to get his counter pick here. I think FPX can lock in something like the Braum in this bottom lane if they really want to, and go towards this very oppressive bot lane, or at least annoying bot lane in the Ashe and the Braum. And then you still got decent follow-up engage if you want to, where you can go in after the likes of Scout has gone in with the Destiny into the back line. You've got some good engage there.
Okay, well, Renekton being looked at here. You talk about engage, you can build up on that just a little bit. So instead of getting the counterpick support here for EDG.
So maybe they're thinking something like the Bard here for Meiko in that bottom lane.
Well, it's banned. So we got limited supports on the board.
So I mean, the Braum still makes sense here. Although
Sejuani support, here we go.
Oh, the Freljord. But I think definitely you're looking at, like, okay, we want something that can be useful. But there we go, Gimgoon here, going back towards the Gangplank. And, I mean, that works pretty well. We already saw FPX play this composition against OMG, where you played through both your side lanes, although it took them a while to realize that that's the way the composition wanted to be played. And against something like EDG that has some great engage tools in scalping him to match with Destiny, got the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, it's not going to be as easy to operate this composition as it was against OMG.
Yeah, a lot of tools for someone like Gimgoon though, right? Where game 1 he was set up to fail this time at a good matchup for the GP. And he's going to be piloting his world skin, as he should. His GP was one of the best in the world, if not last year. And for EDG, it does feel like we got a lot of pick potential here in game 2.
So I'm looking at FPX going, right, we already know what their game plan is. Scout to late, try and get the Gimgoon in a great position as this Gangplank. He's in a strong matchup against the Renekton. Have Doinb play through these side lanes, and then you're looking at wave clear and safety between Crisp, Lwx, and Tian. Over on EDG side, though, we have this Sylas who's going to be trying to match against this Doinb Twisted Fate. You've also got this Renekton that will actually be enabled quite a bit by the composition that EDG have right now between the Ashe and that Sylas being able to dive in alongside with them. So FPX have got to try and find numbers advantages in these fights if they look to try and go against EDG. But that's not always going to be a case when EDG can map and match them so correctly.
And I want to mention for FPX, they have a lot of global pressure here. Senna, TF, GP. There is the ability to fight with numbers without the numbers there too. And we think about the scaling that comes through from GP Graves, how TF influences in the mid game, and how Senna scales as well, of course, infinitely because of souls.
Yeah.
That's how it works, and also the damage that comes out late is pretty insane, so, and plus the range as well. So you got a bit of a front line there with Meiko, with Crisp. Damn, he always plays the Leona. I'm always used to it. But FPX changing their comp for Game 2 as we have a bit of a pause. Otherwise, with the Lotus leaves coming across, we would be into the Rift, onto the Rift. Hang on. We're going anyway. What a journey we will take, ladies and gentlemen. What a journey. Ashe on the horse. I'm on the horse. Old Spice. I think it's okay because LCS is sponsored by... They're still sponsored by Old Spice, aren't they? I believe they are.
I don't know, actually.
All I know is my favorite part, like one of my favorite parts of the LCS broadcast is the Shermanator ad. Have you seen him? The car sale, what's the sponsorship they have over there? Car. You know the Shermanator from American Pie?
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to go, bro? Woo! Anyway, I'm sorry, guys. But welcome to Summoners Rift once again. Good to have you here. It's kind of like my house. Take your shoes off. Walk through. Carpet feels nice, but just don't go into the kitchen. We're brewing something up in here. That's how this game's going to go. It feels dagged up.
Yeah, there's definitely something brewing, and I think a lot of that has to be on the EDG side here, because as you talked about, look, you got great scaling coming in from the Gangplank on FPX's side. You do have infinite scaling on Lwx's side, but that comes in quite late because of the build path you tend to go in this end and being much more mid-game orientated. And then you got Doinb as well, who will be off in the side lane. He kind of scales relatively even with the rest of EDG. But the problem is your Renekton on EDG is going to fall off. You're staying with your Ashe here. And Jiejie as well in relation to Tian is going to have far less impact as this game goes on. So EDG will be looking to make these early plays off of, you know, that 1 to 2 items where you got the Hextech Broda Belt, you got this Blade of the Rune King completed for Hope as well, and they can look to tear through the likes of these dragons and really ramp up the pressure with their composition through these objectives like this.
Looking forward to it because XiaoXiang right now already getting the brunt of damage from Gimgoon. He pulls out his own skin. And I did also get the skin. I have to say the auto attacks feel very nice. And so does the Cannon Barrage.
So, Jiejie will have now got information as to where Tian is started on the map. You can see that there's a ward placed by XiaoXiang in that top jungle just after seeing that the Gromp is gone and the blue buff is gone. So now Jiejie can start to path accordingly. And as Hope and Meiko can be pushed in, it looks like, well, maybe a little bit in this bottom lane, but definitely a more even setting. Because Jiejie just can't fight as well as Tian in these early stages, he'll be looking to try and avoid Tian as much as possible.
Well, let's just go top side, because when we run out of things to look at, we look towards the GP, absolutely smacking the Renekton. Talked about this matchup many times. Feels pretty good to be the GP in this situation, and for XiaoXiang to walk up and hit those barrels is a nuisance.
Nice job by XiaoXiang, though, to get that that big Q, because it gave him a bunch of healing. Gimgoon's nearly out of mana, so XiaoXiang now trading back super well here. Gimgoon actually taking one step too far.
Gimgoon running out of Corrupting Potions, but has a TP if he wants to have an early reset. Meanwhile, Scuttle for Scuttle while Jiejie looking towards the top side, but another part of this is putting Gimgoon on GP is another way of saying, well, look, if we don't get to top side, have fun. Do your thing as normal as we saw in 2019.
If we don't get to top side.
That's fine. Look, at this point, you expect that Gimgoon is going to be in a bit of pressure and a bit of diving threat.
Well, Jiejie looking potentially here to go for a dive onto Jiejie, but I think they watched the OMG series.
Yeah,
I think they've realized maybe we don't want to do this, but they will back away. XiaoXiang actually going to stick around here, see if he can bait that back out of Gimgoon, or at least hold him here for a little bit longer. As I don't think EDG are really sure what they want to do.
Oh, ward placed down. Gimgoon attempting to maybe stop the back as Scout actually to engage underneath Farah, but Doinb has the shove here and a bit of the damage. Nice having the range here through the minion wave. Well, out of mana, but you have a blue card, so get cracking.
Yeah, welcome to Twisted Fate lanes, where they just out-sustain you with mana because that blue card become an absolute nuisance to deal with, especially as you got like the Corrupting Potion there, you can back as well, but XiaoXiang making a roam down the top side.
The pings are missing. Doinb should know this is coming At the very least, might have to burn a flash. Gold card used immediately. Absconder ducked with the chain lash. The damage is immense. And first blood once again goes to XiaoXiang.
And XiaoXiang has just completely abandoned his top lane for this. He hasn't even backed yet. He held on to Gimgoon being underneath the turf for so long. Bought a bit of time for him to get in towards... Oh, hang on.
Hang on. Doinb's going to TP because Tian's nearby. Gold card used on top of Scout. Tian needs to get in. Smokescreen for the slow, but that's it. The follow-up here with Corrupting Potion doesn't kill Scout. Doinb, however, will have the shove and be able to force his teleport out.
Crisp is trying to be a nuisance, though. I'd be very surprised if he went deep underneath this tower for it. But still, hey, look, XiaoXiang now
Did he
has...
miss anything?
No. And now you've got XiaoXiang here who's got his Ninja Tabai, so this lane gets a little bit easier. But of course, with Gimgoon having a Sheen, he's going to be still suffering quite a bit here. But at least you're seeing XiaoXiang opt in to find ways that aren't lane focused on this Renekton to have impact on this map.
Get that first kill is going to be pretty crucial as well, as right onto Gimgoon once again. On top of him is how you be a nuisance. Meanwhile, Dragon goes down to FPX. And Doinb getting caught out there, just on another note, was pings were getting thrown down by Gimgoon. You know, missing Croc.
Pay attention, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of sad as underneath turret. Well, XiaoXiang doing a bit of work.
Definitely someone, especially when you look at Gimgoon, who hasn't got that teleport. He has it 6 and has got still a lot of these potions and some biscuits there, but you can see Jiejie is starting to make his way up towards the top side, and Gimgoon realizing I'm very close to being dived, just going to use the cannon barrage to clear out the wave. That, though, is a win for EDG, in that it opens up now Scout, especially having nicked away that Destiny, for him to try and make plays either through that top lane or through bot side of the map as well.
I just loved him moving off site of the mid lane and threatening that dive here with a Twisted Fate stolen ulti. So again, that's the matchup we're going to be looking at, and we talked about Scout versus Doinb today. Now I'm glad in Game 2 it's going to be pretty pivotal for this game and how the snowball works out. Of course, with Scout, he has the Lost Chapter, so he's going to be doing a bit of damage at this point as well.
Also opted for that fleet footwork, which is kind of a tech we've started to see a little bit more coming through from Sylas, where they try to survive in lane that little bit longer. Sometimes you see it paired with maxing Q first, so that then you have a lot more poke, and instead of relying on your W to be your sustain tool, you rely on the fleet footwork instead. So Scout having a nice old time in this mid lane at the moment, and has managed to survive a lot of the problems that could have potentially been issues for him in the early stages, thanks to that nice gank from XiaoXiang.
But when all things are said and done, Doinb still has a CS lead, while bottom side quite even. Actually, a Trey going to continue forward. Lwx sends it back, but remember, more sustain in this lane because there is no Vampire Acceptor yet available for Hope. Scout. Okay, that's him popping Destiny. Where is he going? Back to mid? No, back to blue.
Yeah, it was a bit to time out, so I'm assuming it was just okay, can we maybe make this work? We give it our best shot. But if you look at Scout there, you can see the Chain Lash is what he's been maxing. And that's kind of the change that we've seen coming through from Sylas's. Yep. So it means that then, as you said, a lot more wave clear, a lot more potential to try and keep up with Doinb. But Doinb now has Destiny. No Scout cannot follow. He's going to be able to shove in this wave relatively okay. I want to see if Doinb can now make these plays happen.
Because EDG still want to contest either way. And Gimgoon walking down with Sheen. Might be able to stop this one. Jiejie in the back of the bit, spotted out. Scout running on in, and Chandra's arrow layers down, dodged away from. Gold card at the ready for Scout. Jiejie smoke screen down. The smite needs to be there. It's flash smited, but Tian's one who picks it up. And Jiejie waits to summon a Scout for the re-engage. Meiko's run up as well. Crisp is the target, and the Leona will be dropping here. Another kill goes over this time to Jiejie for the Herald that FPX secured.
That is a big win for FPX, though. Although EDG do get a kill, we said already, EDG's composition wants to start snowballing. They want to be playing around these objective fights. And with that Enchanted Crystal Arrow missing and Hope being late to joining in this fight, the EDG can't collapse. They can't get as many kills as they would have liked, or even get that Rift Herald for themselves. And it means that FPX will have the opportunity to get some gold into the hands of Gimgoon and start to get this Gangplank goal.
And you notice that FPX didn't really commit anything. Lwx didn't use his ult. You know, there was no Destiny to wrap around or collateral damage. And Cannon Barrage. Waiting for the Dragon that's coming up in a minute 10. You know, FPX already have one in their back pocket. And Gimgoon will be able to contribute to that.
That's why I would have loved to see EDG go aggressive. Was actually the cannon barrage wasn't up yet, so that was your best point in time to try and make that play happen. But unfortunately, as we said, Hope wasn't able to connect with that enchanted crystal arrow. Makes it a lot more difficult for them to make these plays. And surprisingly, actually, Tian, well, not surprisingly because it's FPX, but Tian putting pressure into this bot side with Rift Herald when ideally I would have preferred to see Gimgoon accelerate with this play.
No.
Either way.
Dagda FPX,
I know, it's
bro.
FPX.
It's Gimgoon. Hey, we can't give Gimgoon any hope. You know, he's got to make it himself. As Rift Herald will give the charge and spread the gold around. Of course, it doesn't get the turret. It's not low enough, but that is a bit of a gold lead here, if only 100 for FPX. And Lwx already had Manamune, so this is going to feel nice for him. As whenever you see GP, do you feel like drinking rum?
I just feel like drinking rum in general.
Oh,
so,
do you? Okay.
Yeah. But when we look at EDG, XiaoXiang now has shoved in that top wave. He's actually going to get a roam down here for this next dragon, whereas Gimgoon, without teleport, can only have that impact with the cannon barrage. Looks like they might be looking for Doinb once again here.
Okay, pings are going down. Doinb, this is happening once more. The flash burnt once more. I can see pings from Gimgoon. This is what spectator mode does. Show me the God vision now with no flash available, but Destiny. FPX still have the tools, but they're not here.
But EDG did get control of mid, they got control of river, they get control of this dragon. Now XiaoXiang can start his trek back towards top lane to at least pick up this second wave, although he will lose one tower, or one wave to the tower.
Dagda, on another thought while the dragon goes down, the Goon just got 2 bits of turret plating. So that's big. As onto Meiko now. Solo play laid down. Destiny used by Doinb. This is the first one. And that's perfect. Meiko's going down. Unfortunately to Chris, but it's still FPX who make the tempo play.
And it's about time. We were waiting for Doinb for a while to try and use that play, but because XiaoXiang had gone for that gank earlier on, it gave so much pressure over to EDG to shut down Doinb, make it difficult for him to get in a lane, but finally he's able to do so, and he's able to get some goal back in FPX's hands, some control in this bottom lane as well, although because, as you said, kill goes to Chris, Hope still here to pick up this wave underneath the tower, and it's not too bad for EDG.
Yeah, at least getting the cannon, which everyone would love. Gimgoon, thank you for the wave. This is the other problem as Renekton as you go to auto-attack the barrels. A lot of the time, you're just not quick enough. And Gimgoon should have Trinity Force going back now, actually, if he wants to take it. While Scout mid, meanwhile, picking up a bit of turret plating. We got a turret plating game here, Daggy. Yes, we do.
Yeah. Well, look, we expected this from FPX, right? Gimgoon wants to scale up. Doinb, we need him to have more impact on the map with his ultimate. But at least on FPX's side, they are trying to avoid these fights. They don't want to opt into against EDG because the front to back from EDG is super strong. The ability for them to flank from multiple angles, especially with Scout stealing away the Destiny, is actually sky high. With FPX managing to steal away that early Rift Herald and an early Dragon, they're pretty much in the clear for fighting for quite a while. So FPX have bought a large portion of time for themselves, which is fantastic for their composition in finding pressure with Gimgoon on these side lanes, getting that tempo advantage that they need to work this 1-3-1 and try and put some hurt on team.
It's funny because it's role reversal where EDG had the scaling comp in game 1, they got ahead early and it was fine from then. FPX with a similar vein, but not as far ahead as Enchanted Crystal Arrow will go into Chris. Tian is down here, just needs to escape. Meiko doesn't have ulti, but has exhaust. Still the flash of Skondom Duck waiting for the E over. Gets kicked over. Jiejie, what the hell was that?
It was an unfortunate series of events there for Jiejie, who I think was potentially trying to see if he could get the kick flash. But,
maybe, yeah. Forgot to press flash.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
It was also quite close to the wall, so I think he was kind of like, maybe I don't get behind him, may not be worth it. So decide against the here though.
I guess
FPX still backing away.
Also, because that wall's quite thick, if it was nailed down in a straight line, then Tian probably dies. I guess I can't take anything from Jiejie. The wall a bit to the left, and Tian doesn't go over it. So unlucky, I'll say. But there is a 20 CS lead between junglers. Tian actually the one leading the charge himself. Now that he's survived, now that he's healed up with warriors, he's moving back into river.
Well, this is the thing with Lee Sin is that by default, you have to play a little bit more towards your lanes, right? Because you know, especially in this matchup, you're just not going to scale as well. So Jiejie trying to opt in towards having a bit more pressure towards his lanes, trying to set plays up a little bit more. But Tian's just free to farm, but yeah. Oh. I think it was all cool down.
Okay.
That's thank you, observers.
I apologize. That was unlucky, but he still kicked him. So anyway, progressing forward, FPX surviving. We'll continue this little side lane battle, but now with Trinity Force, Gimgoon starting to get even harder to deal with. This. There you go, bit of turret plating available for all. This game is FPX are the ones who netted out most, but there is a Rift Herald sitting there.
Again, though, EDG are not setting up for these plays correctly. Hope, late to back, hasn't moved up towards this spot. Lwx is already well on the move. FPX are grouped up as 5, where you still have Scout and Hope only on the way here.
Well, Scout's going to use Destiny. You know what? He's going bot. He's going to get that turret.
Still, though, you would have preferred to at least try and force some sort of fight here as EDG, because, look, we already talked about you can match this side lane pressure. The problem is, though, like, Scout and Doinb will just end up trading back and forth. It's just going to be a game of ping-pong. When you look at Gimgoon versus XiaoXiang, though, Gimgoon will eventually be able to chip away at XiaoXiang's health bar underneath the turret thanks to barrels, or...
Oh, solo play used into the backline with the Zenith play. The ult from Senna layers down. Chris goes golden, but so does this top laner. Oh, sorry, support, who eventually goes on down. And now, FPX with another bit of gold lead.
And another dragon as well. 10 seconds until that Infernal Dragon. They can move over now and collect that for themselves. So, I mean, FPX, they're looking good.
You know what I miss? I miss even when stunned, their names were above their heads. Because when you go gold, I can't tell who it is. It's a very hard job casting it. XiaoXiang actually takes the trade. Orange used, and yep, Gimgoon has a bit of threat. Jiejie, if you come top, I feel like Gimgoon could 1v2 and probably survive.
Potentially. XiaoXiang is pretty low. It does have the dominance available, so maybe, but either way, FPX are happy. Like, I mean, look at Gimgoon. He's got the most gold in the game thanks to those turret plates and obviously Gangplank things. But also looking at the rest of FPX, they've got 2 dragons. They've gotten both those Rift Heralds. Like, they have looked really, really good this game.
Tian is huge. Tian is up in CS as the Graves. You feel the value that we talked about in the early game. A level up over Jiejie, who keeps trying to find these plays on the map. And just through CS, keeping up in that bottom lane through top side. I mean, it is props to XiaoXiang, who in this matchup, we've seen Renektons fall like 20, 30 CS behind. Gimgoon has been kept up with by XiaoXiang. Now BF Sword in his inventory. Might see a GA second or Ninja Tabi. And that BF turns into, well, what will we see second? IE second? Essence second? Who knows? We'll see what Gimgoon goes for.
Yeah, I mean, look, the build that Gimgoon has enjoyed, or at least that we've seen him play, is that Essence Reaver build, going for the full crit. I think this makes the most sense in this game as well. You're going straight towards that late game Gangplank.
Just remember against OMG, he built double IE as well, so sure. There's always the potential for that. I mean, the most optimal GP build is 6 IE. As Doinb might be called out. Got a duck dodged away from into the smoke screen. Really nicely done from Tian to disengage a fight. While XiaoXiang has teleport down and chances for arrow flying through, and Doinb gets hit because Tian moves out of the way. Abscond abducted. This TF might just sacrifice his life. Tries the Destiny out, but it's way too late. The flash onto Tian means he might be dropping down here as well with one more hit. Winter's Bite with the concussive blows nails down another, and EDG finally fight back.
They do fight back, but there's nothing for them to take. There's no wave at the moment to try and push in on this bottom side. They have to wait for that to collapse. Gimgoon is trading for a turret in the top side. Lwx is shoved in that wave in the mid to collect that. So realistically, you've invested a whole heap here as EDG to make that play happen, but you don't really get anything back. You're not going to get this tower in the bottom side. And now when these next few objectives spawn, XiaoXiang has no TP. So your ability to match Doinb and Gimgoon in side lanes becomes a lot more difficult. And you're looking at 3rd dragon here for FPX.
You are in 2.5 minutes. Watch again, because EDG went a hell of a long way to kill Doinb and Tian.
Yeah, and this was the brief moment where EDG would have been able to make a play. If you look at that top lane, Gimgoon was fully pushed in. He's not able to join in here. I was surprised that we didn't see the Cannon Barrage come out to try and at least help out in this bottom side. But either way, look, EDG get 2 picks. Fantastic. It's a bit of gold back in their favor. But not being able to translate that into an objective or a turret or something of more value isn't ideal in this situation.
And at the very least, if we're just talking gold value, well, they need more picks anyway. This needs to continue happening. And in front of these objectives, as you rightly say, would benefit greatly for EDG. Minute 45 till that next dragon. We've got a Baron coming up in 25 seconds. And with the Ashe, the potential for EDG to sneak that away. And I say that because this game is running very much towards FPX's favor, despite those picks we saw on our screen. Doinb with 2 items, Tian with 2 items, the GP topside for Gimgoon almost on his Essence Reaver as well. Just picked up solo turret gold, so very good positions for a lot of these carries. And FPX showing us a much better game too, a lot more controlled than what we saw in our first one.
So this is when we look at FPX, we're thinking about this in terms of FPX are going to play side lanes. If at any point in time FPX end up joining in for a team fight against EDG, there is always an opportunity for EDG to try and fight back. Jiejie has got this great setup for any member of FPX who, besides crispy kicks, will be demolished by EDG. Same when we talk about all this flank potential. XiaoXiang has done a pretty good job of keeping himself relevant. He's got Black Cleaver, Tiamat working towards a death stance. If he gets access to the backline alongside Scout, they are going to do a heap of damage with each other. So I want to make sure that FPX at least are playing the map properly, so they're not giving the opportunity for EDG to find some of these fights.
That indicates that Gimgoon will be controlling this side wave. Let's back and get that Essence Reaver. Think about it. Are you getting blue? No, he's getting wolves. Got to get some more doubloons. And I will just say again, Gimgoon reminds me, not Gimgoon, a GP makes me want to drink the Kraken rum. You had the Kraken?
Yeah.
Dark Spice rum.
How did the other night we were out?
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh, we did
Actually, which is a bit ironic at the captain.
Hey, we did too. The Captain Gimgoon. Do you remember when GP got remade?
Yeah.
And you got the Captain skin if you had him?
Yeah,
I miss old GP. Old GP was just like press Q, parlay, and that's the end of it.
APGP OP.
Oh, yeah. Gimgoon actually
That's an
TP'd in.
old video. I don't even know if anyone remembers, but yeah.
Hey, Gimgoon actually made the teleport play for this, so Dragon to be contested. Here we go. Destiny using the backline. Where is he? Scout has taken the Cannon Barrage this time around. Doinb actually moves above. Dragon's pulled out. And Scout still has that Cannon Barrage. Gimgoon has his own.
Scout's Cannon Barrage could be massive here. XiaoXiang trying to get the flank.
It depends. I feel like GP's going to do more. Caught out is Meiko at half health. The center ult layers down from Lwx. XiaoXiang spotted out. Gimgoon gets the barrel trade but doesn't fail as EDG secure the Dragon. Cannon Barrage in the middle. Crisp is epically low. But they're stunned up. They can't walk through for now. Gimgoon used his ulti. Collateral damage still available, but that's it. The Dragon going over to EDG resets the valve.
Win for EDG though. They got the TP out of Gimgoon. You got that ult out of Doinb as well, so not able to actually find that pick potential on FPX's side. And EDG know that, hey, our flank potential is sky high. FPX have to respect that. They need to kite backwards and buys enough time for Jiejie and the rest of EDG to solo out Dragon. So even though nobody goes down, it's EDG getting that second Dragon for themselves.
So now we just wait again for the next objective. Baron sitting there under control by FPX for now while we got another Dragon in 4 minutes.
And the thing here is Gimgoon on this bottom side. XiaoXiang has his TP up and available. Hope nearly has that ult up and available. This is where we can see that same play that we saw a couple of minutes ago, where there were no objectives up for EDG, make a second appearance and give EDG the opportunity to run towards this Baron.
Blue division first. Scout with 2 items and it's on his hourglass. Well, Scout gets Destiny. He can do exactly what TF would do is XiaoXiang has hit 1.5 items. He still does a lot of damage as a Renekton, but Gimgoon, it takes a lot for him to die. While Destiny's used mid, instant cleanse from Hope. And now to run away with the shield up, the Sonic Wave connecting. EDG are going to path upwards, and FPX are going to leave.
No real wards there for XiaoXiang to try and TP2, but you do have to be careful as FPX if you're going for that play. Instead, Gimgoon does not have teleport. You can add in with the Cannon Barrage, but that is it. And a numbers advantage and the CC advantage that EDG would be able to provide with that Enchanted Crystal Arrow into more damage and more CC from XiaoXiang can be very dangerous for FPX if they're caught out like that.
TP going to be burned here on the top side. This is Doinb to match the wave of Scout. Note that Sheen has just been picked up by Doinb, so we expect to see the Lich Bane. 3rd item here for the Twisted Fate.
I don't know why FPX are so trigger happy with these TPs though, because this is something that we saw in their game against OMG as well, is not understanding that even though you have Doinb having this Destiny available, the fact that it can be matched by Scout means you've got to burn more on FPX's side to try and go for these pick plays that TF wants to go for, the same with Gimgoon's plays. But now that they have both of these TPs down, you have 2 TPs available on EDG. There's an opportunity for EDG to try and make some map plays, but at the moment, XiaoXiang not matching with Gimgoon in the bottom lane. We'll give that bottom lane structure over to Gimgoon.
But I will say, I like what FPX are doing in front of the Baron here, where they've got control atop. They use Destiny. They pull in EDG to the choke, and Tian having a field day alongside Doinb. Lwx and Gimgoon short on the path. 5 versus 4. Doinb golden flashes away. The cannon barrage is used by Scout. And now in this choke, they just need Lwx to line him up, and he does. Onto the backline, Jiejie trying to carry. Dodges away, crisp just in time for the Sonic Wave, and FPX now have an open mid to channel through.
Those minions aren't going to stay alive for long though, and EDG are recalling. You can see at the moment Scout is going to try and cancel those waves in the mid lane. He's going to clear that one out, but mid inhib will go down.
So they won't end, but inhibitor now open. Gold lead at 4,000 here for FPX, 25 minutes, and they pulled the trigger, and immediately EDG was sat on.
Hope not having that cleanse available so big there now picks up that stopwatch, which would have been so crucial here. And they try to make the play onto Chris, but unfortunately not quite able to do so. You can see the very quick TPs coming in from EDG, but unfortunately for them, Destiny's quicker. FPX is in a better position, and from this point on, with Hope already gone, there's not much that EDG can really do.
I mean, this is the crazy thing, right? We talked about it. FPX are global. You've got a TF, you've got a GP, you've got a Senna. Everything comes flying out from left field. And FPX make the move quicker. They snap. Now we've got 3 items across the board, and we've got that massive gold lead and the Infernal Soul Dragon, or at least the one that leads to in 40 seconds.
And EDG were trying to make a pick onto the tankiest member of FPX against the pick comp. Like, that's not the way you want to try and play this out. EDG now have no TPs available.
Destiny used right through mid. Jiejie going to hop on over the wall. Teleport's being burned by Gimgoon, who will have to set up. FPX want to end the game here. The barrel connection doesn't hit, but Lwx does. 4 versus 5. It's Baron, it's Dragon. It's an open inhibitor that EDG with the numbers disadvantage cannot handle.
And again, this is where FPX are punishing the fact that they've got that Destiny available. They can look to pick off EDG, and one mistake from EDG has now netted FPX the opportunity to secure the 3rd Dragon of the game. EDG, though, moving in to contest.
I mean, Gimgoon will have the setup here on the Gangplank. Into the pit, they're still not there. Tian secures, but caught on out with the barrel chain. Scout doesn't get the abscond abduct. Goes golden to XiaoXiang for the engage onto the backline, and they do get Lwx. Scout's out of the fight, though, so the turnaround is massive. Collateral damage almost burns him down. XiaoXiang in the back of the pit is gold carded, and here comes the Mafia man. In the back, he will die, and EDG lose even more.
And they contest for some bizarre reason where they've already lost Meiko. They aren't really in a position to try and go for multiple flanks. And although Jiejie got a fantastic kick to get a kill in their favor, that was still a very questionable contest coming through from EDG.
Well, Dagda, I think we're going to a game 3. That's my inner thought here is Dragon was tried for, but Scout too far forward.
So the kick here from Jiejie onto Chris does net the kill onto Lwx. As you can see, sets up beautifully for XiaoXiang. But Scout's already been caught out. Hope is now completely on his own because XiaoXiang and Jiejie have separated from the fight. There's no setup for the Ashe, who's your main source of damage right now. And then FPX can collapse onto the stragglers of EDG.
I just love the hit and the blast going back. Go to my boys. Feed him. As Doinb, oh no, he's got Destiny again. Well, he's waiting for the scuttle crouch. He's having a talking to. As at this point, with Baron in front of FPX, with the gold lead, they have the 3-item Gangplank on Gimgoon. They're grouping up, waiting for EDG to come to them.
They're going to try and contest at this red. EDG do need to be careful, but at least if FPX is in front of them, they know how they can play this fight. Nice, front to back, take it slow, and see if they can try and finish out through FPX. But at the moment, with the gold lead that FPX have, it becomes a lot more difficult for EDG to opt into these fights. And as we talked about, FPX, they outscale, and they're just happy to start on this part.
Will be spotted out. Scout needs to steal an ulti. Destiny's being used. They're channeling into this pit to get vision. It's just going to be the smite to come down. Baron secured. Scout with the hose to slow. Meiko up first and XiaoXiang over the wall, but that's it. It's a free Baron, while EDG have to watch.
And FPX are playing so well around EDG's TPs. They know that EDG, if you've got XiaoXiang clearing that wave in topside, he cannot get to the Braum fast enough before we clear that out.
And Cannon Barrage coming down. This is just Gimgoon and Tian, but you see how big he is right now. Level 16 gets a barrel chain and the Cannon Barrage, and 4 people disappear.
And FPX now, they've got all the cards in their hands. You can play through a 1-3-1. You can do this 0-3-2 if you want to, with Doinb having his Destiny up soon. Although 1-3-1 is probably the best at the moment because you've got XiaoXiang and Scout who both have a teleport of their own. But FPX with Baron can spread this across the map and make it really difficult for EDG to try and defend. Although EDG have sent these waves packing, they've shoved them pretty far. So take a moment or two before FPX actually get to these outer structures.
Gimgoon backing topside. Does he have an item? What are you backing for? Okay, the pickaxe, fair enough. We'll be walking towards bottom. We do have an Infernal Soul up in a minute 52. So, for FPX, bottom seems to be the priority as the mid inhibitor is still open. But our announcer just told us, and in the bottom right hand of your screen you can see, it will be up in a second. But here's FPX. Inner turret threatened, and it will drop. But they want to break the inhibitor bottom side as well.
EDG do not want to commit anything here onto FPX because they've all eyes on that dragon. So this is going to be a bit of a dicey role when it comes to trying to defend this turret, because you either commit a bunch of ultimates now to defending the structure and lose the dragon, or you let the structure go and then try and fight at the dragon.
But just look at Gimgoon. I mean, he's on the inhibitor. He's on the open inhibitor mid. Destiny's being used. XiaoXiang in for the collapse. Flashes away. Doinb for the support. Enchanika's arrow was used by Hope. But FPX with the Baron up minion, this might not be too bad of a play because bot inhibitor's now going to be exposed.
And that's going to be taken. They can move over here as FPX left-hand side over towards this mid lane. And Hope had just finished his Infinity Edge in the middle of all that ruckus. So he's looking to try and do a little bit more.
Jiejie takes so much damage even from Doinb at this point. Double inhibitor broken. Infernal Soul 30 seconds. FPX being real clean about this. Even backing on a ward. Look, XiaoXiang can't get anyone. This is a far cry from game 1 where XiaoXiang had all the eggs. He's now Renekton at 32 minutes in the game. It's like skiing on bamboo chips. Looks like fun, but you go, this is a stupid idea.
That was a great idea.
Yeah, I'm talking like they're sticking upwards, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the dangerous.
Oh no, that's
yeah, no. I don't, look, it's been a rough day for me, right? My analogies haven't been as strong as before.
There is Dragon on the board. EDG do not have Hope's ultimate for another 20 seconds. This is a difficult fight for EDG to try and work with.
Scout hasn't stolen an ulti, at least I've seen for a while. Into the back of the pit, will get the GP ulti, the kick there onto Doinb, but nailed down his Jiejie. There's no smite available, and the Infernal Soul secured. Now FPX want to blow him up as Lwx is healed. Flashes away from XiaoXiang. Meanwhile, Gimgoon dealing with the backline access, and Hope without a prayer. Lwx gets the lockdown. XiaoXiang with a couple of autos to go golden, and that's the final card. Taken down. We're going to that game 3.
We are. FPX managed to get this cop position executing perfectly and set themselves up for a victory.
33 minutes. Boy, oh boy, was that another thrilling ride. We're a bit slow in the mid-game, but we ramped up to those fights again. And we got a full 6-game night. More importantly, a 3-game series in this one I'm very happy about because I think game 1 we saw the best out of some individual players of EDG. Game 2, FPX ramped back up and we got Gimgoon's world skin. You know, GP is undefeated on this split. And things are looking better for FPX and back to maybe the perception that they would give us, or at least give EDG a run for their money.
I do agree. I think Doinb has looked pretty good in this Twisted Fate. We've seen the same Gimgoon whenever he can just opt straight back into this Gangplank, he's more than happy to. And they always run a composition like this, which is, okay, we've got this utility style, or at least wave clear oriented AD carry. Same, we can get a jungler in the same vein. And then it makes things a heck of a lot easier, especially with Crisp on something like an engaged support in the Leona. So I'm surprised to see teams continuously opting in towards these blinds Renektons against FPX, especially after you just handed over that Twisted Fate.
I mean, if it was Khan would run a Quinn into it, so...
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's the curious thing, is that I want to see EDG swapping up the game plan when we do come into this. However, I think this is going to be a very much blue side dominated series, especially when we've seen how high priority this Twisted Fate is, how both these teams want to try and control those side lane narratives and make sure that they're the ones that are having the tempo, having the pace controlled. But I think there's a lot here on EDG side where they went for these over-aggressive plays. They burnt the double teleport to try and get in, try and fight FPX, and then went, we got nothing else we can get here. There's no objectives, there's no towers, there's nothing that we can use to solidify an advantage off of this, and I think that's why FPX flourished so much in this mid-game.
I mean, it was just a ball that kept on rolling here. Gimgoon, most damage, of course. XiaoXiang kept up in the lane for quite a while, but then we saw those fights, and then we saw the cannon barrage, and the pickoffs from the global composition. They come at you from so many different angles. It's hard to see FPX coming, and EDG was shut out in the end. Tian was a lot ahead of Jiejie. Like, the Graves was epically fed. So Tian with stability here in this game.
Yeah, and you could see in this game specifically that the two TPs on EDG side were really the floodgates for this game. The second those two TPs were burnt, Doinb was Destiny off a cooldown, cannon barrage consistently, and then when you've got Tian this fed, it makes it very easily for him to just be a massive carry. So coming into this, I had a feeling that this was the way it was going to go. I didn't expect it to go as heavily that way, but I think definitely Jiejie was trying to sacrifice his jungle so that then he could have impact in the lanes, but we never really saw him do anything on this Lee Sin. It was the same when we looked towards XiaoXiang and these teleports. Actually, to be fair, XiaoXiang did play heavily towards mid, which worked out quite well, and getting that early gank towards Doinb. It was just unfortunate that they couldn't try and turn it into anything with finding these early aggressive fights, using the Ashe ult from Hope to try and pick off people before FPX were able to run away with this late game scaling Gangplank and this side wave control.
That's right. I mean, EDG started this game off, but weren't able to get to a point where they could close it out. So we go to a game 3 to see what